touch that.
Everybody on?
That in the
Good.
middle. That gives you, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the St. John Economic Development Committee meeting for January 26th. I'd like to call to order, and please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Want to do roll call?
Emily Warren?
Here.
Scott Bell?
Here.
Joe Barry?
Here.
Myself here. Dave Beasold?
Here.
John DeYoung?
Here.
Chris is not here. Jason Drevitt?
Here.
Mike Aurelio?
Here.
Is he coming in on Zoom?
I think I just heard.
Can you hear me, guys?
He's here, he's virtual.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah,
There he is.
Hear me okay, guys?
Good to go.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
You got one more.
Miss Kelly.
And
Oh,
Kelly
Kelly's
is on
on
there.
here.
I'm here.
And
Kelly got a minute. Kelly
No,
Stillman?
she's on there. Kelly Strum. Yep. Okay, and the first on the agenda tonight is the election of officers. Can I have
I would like to nominate John DeYoung to be reappointed as the president of the Economic Development Committee.
Second.
well, all in favor? Is there any other nominations?
Or any discussion? No, John,
Discussion?
I think you're good.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. I'd like to have a motion for vice president.
Joe, you want?
Do you want me to make the motion?
Yeah, please.
I'll make it for Rob. Good Vice President.
Yep. I will second that nomination.
Any other motions for that, Kelly? Sure. Okay.
I support
All in
it.
favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Tonight, we have two new members to our board. So for the audience at home, I'm going to have first speak Emily Warren, and if you can give us a little bit of your background and a little bit about your family, and then we'll have Scott do that, and then we'll move on to other business here. But Emily?
Sure, happy
Yeah.
to. So Emily Warren, I have lived in the Northwest Indiana area my whole life, grew up in Cherville, moved back to St. John about 5 years ago. From a professional standpoint, I am a business consultant for Slalom Consulting. Prior to that, I was with Accenture. I've been with Slalom. I'm a director in our business advisory services practice, helping clients solve business problems. I've been with them for about 10 years. Personally, we have a 5-year-old and 2.5-year-old son and daughter, and just super excited to be part of the Economic Development Committee to help create a better, continue to create a better future for the kids.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. And Scott?
Yeah, Scott Bell. My wife Sarah and I have lived in St. John since 2000. We have 3 kids. My oldest, Caroline, is at Loyola University. My middle child, Josh, is a senior at Marian Catholic, and our youngest is at St. John the Evangelist. He's in 7th grade. So I grew up in Dyer. I've been in this area most of my life. Grew up working in my father's appliance parts business in Highland, Bell Parts Supply. We sold the business at end of 2012, and we've been investing in real estate. We've got commercial properties in Maryville and Valparaiso and Highland. Like you mentioned, I'm looking forward to being on the committee and being part of the initiatives. Mike's mentioned a few things to me with some of the commercial development and bringing new festivals to town, and all sounds good. So, and excited to be part of it.
So we're glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Dave, why don't you tell them what you do also?
Well, I've been in the food service / meat business for over 40 years. I've been a St. John resident for 20, a little over 20. I have clients here in town. I have clients here in the Northwest Indiana area. And I have 3 grown children, 2 that are married, 4 grandkids, and just a ball of fun.
Well, for myself, I'm a retail merchant in town. Lived here since 2000. 2 grown children that live in town and their family. I have 6 grandchildren. So, Rob?
Rob Godoy, I've been in the public and private financing business for about 25 years, split between banking and information technology. And I'm currently back on the information technology side, working on security development, things like that for large bank clients and large financial industry clients.
Go.
Yes, I retired from the post office. I put 34 years in there, and I'm working part-time as a delivery driver right now. I have 2 grown daughters. One lives here in St. John, and the other one Fort Wayne, Indiana. And, what?
Well, and
What?
you were council person in another
Oh,
community.
yeah, in Glenwood, Illinois, I was a village trustee, which is the same as a council person
Yep.
here, and I also served on the Planning and Zoning Commission there.
And Kelly.
Nice. Kelly Stoming. I have lived in St. John my whole life, so we'll just say over 40 years. And I work for People's Bank, who also has a branch here in St. John. And I have 2 kids. One started high school. I don't know how that's possible, but it's true. And one in 3rd grade.
Very good. So, well, thank you all, and this gives our residents a chance to see what this committee is all about. So I appreciate you sharing a little bit about your work and your family. So thank you for that. All right, our committee has been asked to help with the 4th of July festival. So I have with us tonight 2 very qualified ladies that Cindy Copenhaver from South Holland and Kelly Dykstra from Cedar Lake. And I'm going to ask them to speak in a minute about their background and see if they can help us with their services on a consulting basis. I believe at some point this could be a good revenue source for our town. I think it'd be a great benefit for our residents. And I would also tonight like to at least start to set up a festival committee and give recommendations to our town council by next month in February. And I also would like to have the inclusion of residents, town employees, public works, police and fire, because I think if we draw on a lot of those folks that are in the community, I think we can get a lot of wonderful help. And we have 2 experts in the building here tonight with our 2 ladies that are going to speak here in a minute. So I think, this is a first for us. The idea behind this festival is for the entire families of St. John. And we're going to try to expand on that, and I think we do need some leadership on that, so that's why I've asked these 2 ladies to come and speak to us. So tonight, I think, Cindy, would you like to start off and come to the podium here, if you would, please?
I didn't know I had a podium. Yeah. So hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
And by the way, I do have, on each lady, I do have a handout here, so. Falling down on my job already. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, oh, you need one more, there you go. Yep. And then this is for Mrs. Dykstra here. Okay. Okay. And one more, there you go. Okay. So now you got a little bit of information in front of the members here on each lady here. And so.
Okay, so I'm nervous. But thanks for having me. And yes, we have a little bit of background here. I've been in the fitness field, fitness and recreational services all my life. And I currently work as a senior recreation supervisor for the Village of South Holland. I've been there 22 years. And I've had the wonderful opportunity for my administrators to trust me when I'd come up with an idea. I'd say, hey, how about we do this? And they would kind of like listen to my my vision of what I wanted to do, and then I got the support. And so I had the opportunity to run our 4th of July festival for 8 years, created Winter Wonderland Festival. Probably my most treasured event is a military tribute. This was my 7th year, and we have about 250 people attended it prior to COVID. The first year we offered it, we had 40 veterans attend, and then their guests, and this year I had 120. So that was like, yes! So that's like my proudest event. But feel free to ask me any questions, if that's easier. But I enjoy creating events and wanting to know what your vision is to see, what we can bring forth. When I worked with the events, I coordinated. I was like the lead coordinator. And then I would pull in Public Works, Fire Department, ESDA, the Police Department, marketing, advertising, who was going to do the food vending. So I had a great committee and team that I worked with. And, we all had our own assignments to follow through on. And, so I had really good support with them. So I was very happy to do that.
A lot of volunteer support?
A lot of volunteer support. We worked a lot with local volunteers, local churches, and then Civil Air Patrol was one of our big supporters, or, the high school kids going into the military were very dependable to help us out, with different events and activities like, if it was like 4th of July and we had the bouncy houses or, the food vending or whatever, they would help with that. So, yeah, they were a great resource.
Good. Got some information about Cindy in front of you. Cindy, this is going to be new for us. We're trying to create a family event in the community here, and you want to give us some ideas that maybe you would have off the cuff? I mean, we're gonna try to sit down at a later point and kind of go through a lot of those things, but.
So, John, are you talking about 4th of July or just?
Yeah, 4th of July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is going to be a one-day event leading up to the fireworks.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay. So, you would want to know what I would like to, or what I would suggest that the activities would be?
Yeah.
Okay, so, you start off with, the kid stuff.
Yep.
Usually you have the bouncy houses and you have kid activities. We've had bouncy houses. We've had a zip line. We've had the reptile guy come.
Yeah.
We've did a petting zoo.
Yeah.
So you have different activities. We tried games. Games may or may not go. Depends how much the family's involved.
Yeah.
A family game. Our vision was a family game. Some other visions were to let the kids go and do their own thing. So you got to find that balance between, what the vision is. You would have food vendors, whether it's local vendors or food trucks. In South Holland, we ran a rib fest for like 20 years that people competed for that. We gave out prizes and T-shirts for that. So then towards the evening, I've coordinated everything with 4th of July except the fireworks. So I don't have experience with the fireworks except where where the road is, where, people can't pass it. But I've also done the the map in the park of where where the safety areas should be, where it's safe for the kids to be, how close parents can be to their children if they, the kids did go off on their own. And then towards evening, you kind of offer the glow-in-the-dark things, the little things, that the kids like to play with and stuff. And, you keep your safety area. I think, the biggest thing with 4th of July to me, and especially towards the evening, is the safety factor, to make sure that nobody's near the fireworks and that, it's dark and the kids are near their families and things. So those are the things that I can think of right now.
Good. Any questions here?
Did you guys ever consider like live music, or was that too much of a?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't bring that up. Yes, we've always had bands play.
Okay.
It was South Holland, so there's no beer tent. I don't know if that's something that is in your thoughts or not, but yes, we've always had live bands play. Usually, the live band we would have, and thanks for asking questions. I'm better at questions than thinking stuff. But we've had live bands, we've had line dancing lessons in the park, we've had Zumba in the park also on that day. In the evening, South Holland is very traditional with their band, their local band. So right before the fireworks, they would do the traditional military songs and the tribute to each branch of service. So that was kind of the way that when the band started playing, when the evening band started playing, that would be the introduction to the fireworks.
As someone that has grown up in South Holland, I've been to 30-plus 4th of July celebrations, so I know where you're coming from. I think our biggest challenge here is going to be space.
Okay.
Okay, there's some things in the works that could change that, not so quickly, but it is in the works. But in the meantime, Hart Park is probably our biggest venue. Parking is going to be a challenge.
Okay.
Because of Midwest Ice Arena and all the other things that are going on. It's a baseball complex, basically. A lot of things going on that time of the year. So I think moving forward, that's going to probably be the biggest challenge here in town, simply because you have to have parking, you have to have square footage. That would not be a spot that you could have fireworks. It's just not designed.
Got it. Okay.
Designed for that. It's too much residential. So it's not like South Holland Park. It has a nice big wide open area and plenty of room for this and that. So I see that as the town's biggest challenge. At the same token, Parks and Rec are continuing to expand, get bigger, this, that. So, I mean, that could literally change longer term, let's say 2-3 years down the line. I think initially that would be our biggest challenge.
Okay.
So if, if fireworks wasn't going to be how the night would end, then I would suggest then the band be the night, that the band be the way to end it.
Right.
That would be probably one of the thoughts there.
But I believe they're talking about doing fireworks this year again.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's always been
interrupt for a
central.
second. We
So,
did.
Go ahead,
We
Mike.
did have fireworks.
Mike, we can't see you, but I can hear you vaguely.
So I was going to add in there that we did have fireworks last year. In the parking, at least last year, was really well done by the police department. They got them in and out efficiently. That was our first year. Is it going to be much higher attendance? We'll be to the festival, I'm sure. So you're right. Parking is going to have to be thought through. But I do, last year we were able to get an agreement from the people that own that property, the 40 acres. Our hope would be to be able to do that again, which would give us enough room to blow off fireworks. So yes, just wanted to add that in.
Okay.
The other thing you might consider with parking is if you have a trolley service or, where people can park off-site and then, take a trolley or, some type of a hayride or something, to get to this area.
Cindy, how many hours do you think you'd have to put in to facilitate something like this? I mean, with what, I'll ask the same question to Kelly when she speaks, but, if you can tell us, the planning of it, I mean, is it, what's involved there with time?
Well, first of all, it depends what your vision is.
Yeah.
That would be the first thing that we would need to know is what the vision is, so we know how to break down the different areas and then, develop the committee from there.
Yep.
It starts off usually with the one meeting like right now. Everybody get their ideas together. What's the vision? What do we want to do? And then, the next meeting, couple-hour meeting, would be to kind of break down the assignments of who's all responsible. I think the most important thing is to be specific on what role each committee person has or what their assignments are. So it's not like, oh, I thought you were taking care of that. You always want to make sure that a specific person is responsible for their specific area. So I think you start out with, just a couple hours the first month or two, just having meetings, and then the closer the event comes, you reevaluate that and see how much time you need, to, meetings maybe weekly, for a couple hours, the month before.
Got it. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? No?
I guess one question I have is,
Yeah,
what
Kelly?
kind of lead time do you typically need to book the different types of events, people, bands that you would have?
If I was doing it right now, I'd have it all try to have it all together now, or close to it. Especially if there's a specific band that you would want. If you're pulling in any military sources, I don't know. Probably one of my best accomplishments maybe is I got a Black Hawk helicopter to one of our 4th of July celebrations. That took a lot of planning, but and I don't know if I have that connection anymore, but that was just something that was really pretty cool. But usually right after January 1st is when I would start sending out my requests and try to get, the major things, like I said, once again, what your vision is, and then from there I would try to get the main areas, the main entertainment, for lack of a better term, for each time of the day, break it down. What are we going to do from 10 to 12, or what time are we starting? What time do we want to start? And then what are we going to do from 10 to 12? And what do we have for adults at this time? And what do we have for children at this time? And then, when it's dark, are we basing it more on a family activity, so the kids are safe, or are we looking for it to be more adult activity? So it really, depend on your vision, and then from there pick out, try to get the vendors in line.
Very good. Thank you.
We're good?
I
Okay,
appreciate
thank you,
that.
everybody.
Yep. And this is Kelly Dykstra, please. Yeah. Thank you for coming tonight.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for having me. So, as he said, I'm Kelly. I have a very different background than you, but I'm from South Holland, so I can picture everything that you're saying, which is kind of neat. So my background is more running markets, and so I started out with the Cedar Lake Farmers Market. This is going into our 4th season, and it wasn't something that I had ever thought about doing. It was just something that the Lord kind of set before me, and I didn't know I would have a passion for it, and it ended up being really fun. And so last year I was approached by 2 different tractor shows in the area. One was in Valparaiso, one was in Crown Point. And they're like, can you come alongside us and just help us plan this? And we want to get our numbers boosted. So I started doing that. And then last week we just signed up to work with Uncle John's Flea Market. So most of my experience is more working with like all the different vendors and just like planning like a family atmosphere for these events and things like that. So I'm not used to working with like volunteers or committees or that kind of thing. It's basically just me coming in and doing what I do and, doing it that way. So that's what I'm familiar with anyway.
How many vendors do you have that,
So
like
at a
food trucks
time-
and things that would come?
Yeah, at a time we have 140. That's all really the property in Cedar Lake can have at one time because we've maxed it out. Of that 140, I would say there's probably about 16 food trucks, give or take. Some of them are food booths, but most of them are food
Yeah.
trucks. And we have live music, bounce houses, traveling petting zoo, pony and horse rides, face painting, slime making, all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. We wanted to have it very much a family orientated.
Mm-hmm.
Some thoughts came to our mind that we have some great high schools in the community, that those bands could lead up to, with music to
Yeah.
the fireworks display,
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition between the departments here, maybe in a beanbag challenge from the police to the fire department or public works. All those things are just great things that we can get the community involved in and make it really a wonderful festival if people wanted to do that. So Rob, you're our food truck guy. You got any questions for Kelly here?
No, I have a few
Yeah.
friends that own food trucks. I've got a few friends that own food trucks and have worked events like that too, and have organized with other truck owners that they kind of roll with.
Is it like the Food Truck Alliance?
It might be. It's Mamacita's is the
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I know them. So their food's great and they're very accommodating.
Yeah.
But they have a good connection in that network. So the trick is to get them early enough because these events book up long in advance.
A lot of them have just like repeat, so like every whatever Labor Day, 4th of July, whatever, they're like gonna just keep going back,
So yeah, logistically
I was
we need to
wondering,
get it.
and I don't know if you guys can even answer this, but what was the day that you guys were wanting to have this on? Do you guys know yet, or
On the 4th, right?
is
that right,
isn't
Mike?
the
They
4th
were
on
gonna-
a Sunday, or
When were they going to do it? On the 3rd or the 4th or the 2nd or?
So what I would say, or like my opinion on that, I think that needs to be decided in committee. Is the 3rd a Sunday this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, a lot of
So
people
I think
have church activities, and that could be.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I would be open to advice from the event planner who knows infinitely more to me what the right way to go with that is.
Yeah,
So,
also we should be checking on our neighboring communities to see what events they're having on that day.
That's right.
So that's one of the reasons we need a festival committee. So to find out all these things. Kelly, in your opinion, is it a good revenue source for Cedar Lake? Because you mainly did this for Cedar Lake, right?
I did. So I don't do like the summer fest that they have there. That's completely separate. So
Yeah.
it's just the farmer's market. But basically, they just rent the land to me, and then I just go in and do my thing. So I don't know, like.
And did the town benefit from that?
Yes, definitely, because they said it was kind of like putting Cedar Lake on the map and just trying to get people to know about the lake, and it's right on the lake, so.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat too. It's next
Which
to
is
the
a great
museum.
venue.
Yeah, it's right by Lighthouse, so
Yeah.
it's a fun area.
Okay. Any other questions for Kelly tonight?
What made you ask us if we were doing July 3rd and 4th?
I would prefer not to do a Sunday, to be honest. That's more of a family day for us, so if it was going to be on a Monday, that would be a lot easier for me. My husband is a pyrotechnic as well, and I don't know if you guys are already.
Which we use here in the
Yeah,
town. We
he
use
does
her
the one for like
services.
the day after Thanksgiving when, I don't know, when Santa comes in on whatever it is, the fire truck or a helicopter. So yeah, I was curious about that too, if you guys were under contract already for using the same people again, or if that's open to discussion or whatever.
I think
You
that
guys probably don't know
that would
that.
be up to the town council.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might be a
Yeah,
separate thing.
I know that we are not under contract yet, so it is open for
Cool.
bid.
Yeah, and it's nice to be able to work together if that's possible, with him. So, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Scott, you have any other questions?
I don't think so.
All right, so our next step here then, and thank you very much, Kelly, I appreciate your time on that. Our next step would be that our committee gets together and then we decide, yeah, Cindy, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just working on the microphone.
Stand by the podium. Yeah.
Sorry about that. What you had brought up about what night it would be, what we, our concern in South Holland is we did always check when the other towns were having their event, because if we were the only one having it that night, we would have so many people, because everybody would just come then to South Holland for all their fireworks, and we'd have thousands of people in the park, which was a safety concern. So it's always good to know what the other towns are doing, and not that you're not welcoming other people, but just then you have to extend that safety part of it, because you have more cars and more people and more traffic jams and stuff. Just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have a?
I guess
Dave?
my only question to both you ladies is this feasible for this 4th of July now? If we got something together, let's say in the next 30 days? To me, that you're asking a lot. I think I think for both you ladies, that's crunch time. I mean,
We would have to get going on it right away.
right. And the only reason I asked that is I was at a recent Parks Board meeting, and there was someone that approached the Parks Board for an Oktoberfest event, okay? And their number one concern is we got to move on this right now, because it sounds strange, but it's only 10 months away. And they figured they would need all of that 10 months to get something together, because it would be an inaugural event. We're asking the same in like half
My
that.
question to you, because I wasn't
Half
familiar
that
with this,
time.
have you guys had a fest on 4th of July before, or this would be the very first one? And
This-
in the past, it's just been fireworks, and now you're looking to add like a full day
Right.
type of thing? Yeah.
We're going to try to add a full day if timing works out and you can get vendors. This is more exploratory right now, but
Do you know about how many thousands of people normally come to the fireworks, or it's hard to say?
I couldn't answer that myself.
And that really was just put back into play,
Correct.
right? The fireworks.
It's
So
been-
we
it's been gone
haven't
for a couple years.
traditionally
Yes.
always had them.
Okay, that's
Last
what I
for
was
the first
wondering.
year.
Yeah, last year.
What did you say, Mike?
Last year was the first year for fireworks
Yeah,
that I can remember.
yeah.
So my other thought would be to get the event going. You would probably want to try to do it, but maybe scale it down a little bit,
Yeah.
to kind of say, okay, I think we could do the band, we could do the kiddie activities, maybe bring it, maybe not plan it from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. or something, just kind of say, okay, maybe start at 3 o'clock and work 3 to fireworks or something. And once again, what.
I mean, I really think that if you had the Lake Central band come out or the Ileana band come out, the parents, the community would come out,
I think you
listen
could
to
have
their
both
kids.
bands,
Huh?
Probably, you could probably have both bands. and then
Correct.
maybe, in addition to the students, have like an
Right.
adult band too.
And then we got the grammar schools, so I think it could be, maybe you give them an hour each, and the next group comes in and
I have
sets
found
up.
it's very hard to get the bands to come during the summer.
Yeah,
And we have the bands coming to the Cedar Lake Farmers Market for the first hour while school is in the spring and in the fall. But
Yeah.
then we can't get them in the summer. So I don't know if someone here has a connection.
I've got a connection, a push on a couple of bands that are pretty well-known locally that I could probably strong
Not
arm.
with I'm talking about like the students.
He's talking like
Oh, the
Student
student
bands.
bands? Oh,
High
not those
schools.
bands, yeah.
Other kind of.
Yeah, that's a big ask in the summertime.
Yeah.
It is, and I mean, I'm used to having, and you are, like, hiring the musicians. I mean, I have a waiting list of like 60 people that, we only have 12 dates possible, and there's a lot of bands,
right.
so that wouldn't be a problem at all.
But yes, with the high school band, or grade school, high school bands, the kids are on vacation, parents are on vacation.
Plus, it's a holiday
Yeah.
weekend,
Sure.
Right.
okay.
Something we couldn't check into.
Yes. Well, what we're going to do then as a board, I'm going to ask the board to, we'll meet maybe in a week or two here, and then we're going to try to get a format set. If it works out with everybody's schedule, and you guys let me know what's a good time, but,
We
the
should we get
9th
a-
or something
Yeah,
like.
should we get a study session on the books
Yep.
so we could release the, I'm not sure if we need to
I-
release that.
Well, I think we should do it the right way, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what I would vision is you guys giving a recommendation to the council. You do the homework, vet it out, and then we would be grateful for you guys giving us a recommendation.
Yeah, and Mike, the soonest we probably could do that would be your February board meeting. Because there's a lot of work to do to even see if it's feasible at this point, but I think
Yes.
the town council have asked us to look into this, You know, my big deal here is that we have inclusion of the department heads and, or the departments, somebody representing. And we do due diligence, I've asked these two wonderful ladies to come and speak tonight. They're experts at what they do, so, and then we've also contacted I think it's the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority is what we've contacted. We talked to Heather Serrera, I believe is her name there, but they would help with if we needed any resources. We have to talk about, you know, if the food vendors are going to pay a fee to be there, a small fee. But I think it could be a great family day. But there's a lot to do, Mike, so I don't see it happening before February.
We need to get going on this
I
committee.
think,
Huh?
We
Yeah.
need to get going on this committee. I mean, within the week.
And then if it's all right with you, Mike, and the town council, we'd like to put it on our webpage and that we're looking for some help. And then if you can get it out, that message out to the department heads here. We need a volunteer for Public Works, Fire Department, Police Department. If you have ESDA, you know, you need Parks Department, definitely. So,
Yep.
yeah, there's a lot to organize. Kind of charged us with a lot of work here, but
Yeah, it's the start of something great. I appreciate. I know, John, you put some hard work into this. You and I have sat down on a number of occasions, kind of laying the groundwork for this. And I know that you have done a lot of work on this. And I know you looked at me real hard when I said I would like a recommendation by the end of February. So I really appreciate you, and I know that's a big ask. So
Okay.
I do appreciate everybody on the committee and yourself, doing the work. I really appreciate it.
all right. So we'll get together. Is it 9th? What day is that, Jason? The
2 weeks from today.
Huh?
2 weeks from today.
Yeah. Does that work for people? That maybe 5 o'clock on the 9th?
I can do that.
Is that convenient
do it.
for people?
Yeah,
And are we allowed to meet here, or do we go in the meeting room down the hall? They have like a study session? Is that possible?
Why don't we aim at the 9th, and then we're going to need to.
You muted yourself, Mike.
I lost them.
Okay.
He muted himself.
All right, got you guys. Sorry, technical difficulties. So, why don't we aim at the 9th, and we will make that work one way or another. I think time is of the essence, and if we can meet in the council chambers, that would be great. Otherwise, we will make a Plan B work.
Okay, so we'll have a study session then on the 9th at 5 p.m. We can try to, put all this information, huh?
Regular meeting,
It's a regular meeting?
special meeting, not study session.
Special meeting,
Hey, Mike,
yeah.
can you get
Yes.
the president and the vice president of the Parks Board there on the 9th? Or talk to them? Because I think it's imperative that they're involved. Because
You got it. Yep.
yeah, I mean, they're gonna be the people that have the ultimate ideas for size of event, and any questions that these ladies might have, they're gonna need to know.
Parks Board will get the director and the board, some of the board members. You got it.
Yeah, Parks is going to have a heavy lift on this too. I mean, there's going to be a lot of work for them to do, so we really need
Correct.
to get them on
Yeah.
board
Yeah.
as soon as we can.
You got it.
And you ladies, if you want to help with each other or give us advice, we certainly would like to do it on a monetary basis of staying within a good guidelines. if we can work on something like that. If you're feel like that'll work for you, then we would entertain that too. So I don't know what your other commitments are, but we sure appreciate you speaking tonight and giving us your information.
Besides, like, us discussing payment and things like that, is there an actual budget for this itself? Is it just baby, like, there's no budget, just?
Well, obviously, money is a big concern, but this would be more of a consulting fee is what I would kind of view that as. You know, you have to decide if that would be worth your time or not, but
You're talking about a budget
wasn't
for the
really the
event,
event.
Yeah,
right,
right.
for the
I
event.
think you ladies might have a better, clearer picture of what we're talking dollar and cents wise to get to have something come off.
I mean, there's some things you can get volunteers, no
Agreed.
problem, but then there's other things that.
Correct.
You know, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to ask me, I would, in my head, I would say, you know, somewhere in that $20,000 range might be what it would take to get something like that.
Is that including the fireworks, though, or is
Well,
that?
no, that would be, you know,
No, no.
completely separate. I mean, I'm just talking about, you know, what it would take to coordinate, you know, obviously pay parks people or public works people or whatever it's going to take to set up.
I'm talking about their individual fee.
Right, but she's talking about, you know, I mean, part of what they need to do is know where they stand and what they have to
Good
work
to know
with.
what we're working with, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I understand.
So if I could add 2 cents into that. So yeah, we are in a little bit of uncharted territory here in St. John's. We're blazing new trail here. So I think that would be the wisdom that we would need for the event planner. What has been budgets for the towns and festivals that you guys have been part of? We would really need that wisdom from you guys.
So, Mike, I'm going to ask the ladies to maybe get information to me that I can have for the 9th, that the committee can talk about, and they can kind of give some budget ideas, and then we'll put that together, and then we'll present it to you so we can get it to the town council.
Sounds good. I like that plan.
Is that all right?
And is there any grants given towards this? Because sometimes, like you mentioned, that South Shore, they will give money if you advertise for them. like
Correct.
A plaque on the stage or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
And Kelly, this is so new to me. I mean, I could tell you about my business, but festivals, I mean, that's why I asked you.
Still learning, but.
That's why I asked you ladies to come, because you're the experts. We greatly appreciate this tonight. We do have some other things on the agenda to cover, but if there's any more questions for the girls, sir?
So are we wanting them a part of the February 9th?
Pardon me?
Are we wanting them a part of the February 9th
Yeah,
meeting?
if,
If they're available,
What day of the week is that on?
it's 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today.
at 5 o'clock, is that work?
The only thing I
Yeah.
have is, I have a 96-year-old Tuskegee Airman that I have a phone call with that night at 7. Because it's his birthday party.
Yeah.
No,
That's the
no
only
problem.
But you can, if you can't make it, just get me some information so I can present it to the committee.
So I,
Yeah.
I think what we'd want to know is really what your vision is. You know, do we want a whole day? I think if you can give us some guidelines, you know, are we talking parcel day, we talking
know,
all
you-
day?
I like what you
That-
said about later in the day for the first.
Well, this is my, and this is just my own
So do I.
personal thing, and you can see what the other members would like, but if you started something at noon or 3 o'clock and led into the fireworks, and you had food vendors there for lunch, and then maybe an evening, they have, the food vendors would have a shot at selling 2 meals, and
Sure, maybe a beer garden or two.
well, yeah, now that's another issue because you have to pass a special use ordinance, Mike, and
I
that's
think we have that. I think we have that. I think just at what would need to be done is council would need to issue the permit. I think is what would need to be done at this point.
right. So, if the ladies are available and they can come and kind of help us come through that or walk us through this process, I'd appreciate that too. If you're willing, if if
I
this,
think before I would say I would commit, I
Yeah.
would want to know like financially, like you were starting to explain like what that would be because
Yeah.
I would. you know,
well,
I'm not asking
and we
right
don't
now.
know yet from the town council.
Yeah.
So I have a
Okay.
question. What about on the 9th, we come through as a group and come together with somewhat of a vision and then bring the gals back?
Yeah, we can do that,
That
Joe.
way
Yeah,
you
because it would
don't,
be good if we knew exactly what you guys wanted. We could both say, hey, this, and this, and you know. So
It's fine too.
And we didn't get to talk, right?
no, we just met now. So
But, another thought would be that, one of us that has, maybe that has worked with the committees before, I can, have that part of it. And with her experience with the food trucks and stuff, that we could have a good balance there, maybe.
now, are you guys wanting like artisans and vendors and things like that to come and sell things too, and set up canopy tents and make it so that people can
Well,
do shopping?
the
as
first
well?
one, I mean, we can
I don't think
give
we
too
know
much
yet.
there too.
yeah.
But,
Wondered because I
wait, and that's something that our committee's gonna have to talk about, and then, so, okay.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies, I really appreciate your time. All righty. Okay. No, you guys, you can
No,
go
no,
if you
you're-
want. Yeah,
no,
we're gonna do some other committee work, but thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
okay, reports. Yeah. Kelly, do you have anything to report on?
I do not.
You do not. Joe,
I do not.
Emily,
I do not. Not yet.
Mr. Godoy?
Not yet.
Yeah, no? David?
The only thing I can say is, I was at that Parks meeting.
Yeah.
And they're on board with listening to ideas. And we touched on the event thing. That was kind of new to me. I had heard people talking about it, so I investigated a little bit on my own, talked to a few different people. So I think that, yeah, it's imperative that we sit down with them and
Absolutely.
kind of have an, I mean, because they're willing. I talked to the president after the meeting, and I told him, I says, yeah, we're going to have to sit down and pick each other's brains, because we can do all the planning that we want. At the end of the day, them guys are going to do the heavy lifting.
Right, that's
And,
correct.
they've got to set up, and we're going to need, obviously police, and we're going to need ESDA, and we're going to need Public Works, we're going to need parks. And I know the parks people, there's only a handful. I mean, we're not dealing with 30 guys. We're dealing with what, Jason, like 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even that many?
And on that note,
Yeah.
Okay.
on that note, I want to make sure that our parks guys are compensated
Absolutely.
above and beyond, if we can do that.
Right, but I mean, that's, I understand their point about a budget.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've got to have at least something on, I mean, you just can't ask them to wing it and then say, oh, guess what, we can't pay for that.
Yeah. So that's
Right.
that's what we're going to decide in our committee on meeting, or our special meeting on the 9th.
Would we need legal presence? I mean, in case we bring up possible revenue creation during the event for the town?
I can't think of her name. Who's the lady
think we-
that's,
I think
the
we do.
lawyer that's on the parks
Yeah, because
board?
we're going to need, because I
Nicole
mean,
Bennett.
No, Nicole Bennett, yeah, she would
Yes.
probably, she's the one that's kind of reworking some of the park district
Yeah, so we're gonna-
terminology going on. It would probably be in the best interest
to
that she
get her
is,
there.
yeah, in case we have any legalistic.
Would you touch
Questions?
base with them then, David?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because I mean, I envision something like this, being a good foundation to start more events and to bring more revenue into parks
Yep,
or other parts of town, depending on what the law provides us.
absolutely.
But I mean, I think we could definitely use more revenue for parks.
So is there parking and plenty of space to do what?
Well,
we're
at
looking to do?
Heartland there is, but the problem with that is it's a mixed use park that's partially leased to private parties, and then Midwest Ice Arena does have some, I don't know their lot size or what's designated to who. So we would have to approach ownership of Midwest and get approval or to get some
If
kind
it was
of a-
done on the 3rd, they'd probably have activities going too, right?
Well, I would assume we would stay away from the 3rd anyway, because that's a Sunday.
Yeah,
Okay,
They do have gymnastics and they do have hockey.
yeah.
Baseball.
There might even be baseball.
Well, then
right?
well, July usually,
Yeah, yeah.
July softball and baseball season is over
Yep.
in July. So that might not be as much of a problem, but what would be more of a problem would be I wouldn't say a problem, but more of something to work out with would be with Midwest.
So
if
we
they have a
can
large-
talk,
For sure.
we can talk to Mrs. Butcher then on
Yeah.
that, and we'll try to see what her thoughts are on something like that also. So, lot to discuss, Mike.
And
Yeah,
where do the
yeah, we're,
fireworks go off?
yeah.
of?
We're gonna have some fun.
This is
Can you see what Jason has brought up on the screen there, Mike?
Yep, yep.
We have for minutes.
I can't. I cannot see what's going on there.
Just 1 minute. I have to share the screen.
So there's land on the south side of the ice. rink,
Yeah, that
right?
is
Will
the
that
40
get
acres they're
utilized?
referring
Yep.
to.
All
Yep.
this property in front.
This is
Right.
Midwest.
This here?
Yeah, so
That's where it was last year.
Got it.
you could
Yeah.
park cars. If it isn't
We got a lot of
wet.
housing here.
You know what I mean?
There's
Yeah,
housing
yeah.
surrounding.
For a day, you could
But-
section, I mean, so there is, so there.
Depends
but
on,
that can literally
requirements,
change with a
So
rain.
the target date would probably be the 4th.
Yep.
Is that right?
I don't know
or
what
is
the
that not
requirements
for
are
sure?
for the space needed. I think
Your-
40
your
acres would
problem
be
is,
plenty, but
do
I
you have a
could be
rain
wrong.
date? You know, because fireworks probably.
Well, that's
do.
true. Yeah.
Because you'd want to be
You know,
able,
they may wanna
you've
do
got
that.
housing on either
Man,
You could do the second.
side, east and
right,
west.
Saturday.
Yeah.
North and
Then
south
there
is
might
no
create
problem.
A lot of activities going
There's
on.
nothing
If that's
south, and
I
the
think-
north is
I
just
think
as
when we-
Midwest
Yep.
When you
which is
have
a
it on that
potential
weekend, you are
hazard,
going to
but,
run into some sort of issues.
for proximity.
Right.
But as are, the
This is
homes in
definitely
that
the
area,
location to
so.
do it, right?
And who owns that land?
Or is
The
there
40
options?
acres?
We are
Do we know?
currently
John Lawton does.
Okay.
talking to
John would let us use it?
over here on Parish.
He did last year, so I don't want to presume on that. I'm hoping he will.
All right.
Purchasing.
Could you touch base with him, Mike, to see if this came about, we could
Yes.
do that? Okay.
Parish.
All right, I'm
Yes,
gonna,
I'll get
uh,
I'll get
Cali,
John.
right, but a roundabout there is that.
we're gonna,
That's right.
we're
And then
gonna
also we
touch
need to talk to
base.
the people in that house there next there.
I'm sorry, Mike, could
South
speak up,
side
please?
of that roundabout.
We'll
happen
also
in
need to
Parish.
touch
That
base
would
with, there's a
happen.
gentleman that owns 10 acres that is in between the 40 acres and the ice arena, so we need to talk to him as well. He allowed us to use his 10 acres but last year as well, so I'm hopeful he'll do that again.
Okay, all right, all right. I had a hard time hearing on that, Mike, I'm sorry, but, okay, we're gonna.
No problem.
We're gonna go on to some reports. I've got a list of things here that I want to report on. Our River Waterway District. I think by creating this, this is going to benefit and paves the way to bring upscale restaurants to our community. Some years back, when we did a study here and sent out a questionnaire to the residents, the number one request was nicer dining in town. So with the help of Chris Solanas, our town manager, and we've been working on this for 4 or 5 years now. He was able to find a statute to we can attach to the
TIF.
pardon me?
TIF district.
Our TIF district, yep. But we're able to create licensing for alcohol, and that's going to bring some nicer restaurants to town. And I think that'll be, are we still on track, Mike, for a 4-month process? It's got to go before town council and the zoning board and,
It is, as
Okay.
far as I know, it is on track, yes.
okay, all right. So that's a little update on that. What we've been told is that there's licensing will be attached to certain parcels, and it will be through the state of Indiana for $8,000, which is very desirable if you're going to bring a restaurant to the community. So that's encouraging. The other thing I have to report on is at the Kmart, Mr. Hoffman, who is our contact with the Kmart property. And we'd like the residents to know that he has been in touch with the town council on doing a refurbish of that property or a new project to that property. So that's, there is some conversation on that again, and I know our residents in the town will be very excited about that. Also, if you drive by, you see NIPSCO's trucks parked there, and they're working on the power grid improvements. So just to let the residents know, we're updating power grids there.
Fantastic.
The expanded TIF on 109th and Klein and Parrish is, they're trying to make improvements for that for a roundabout, is what's been proposed. So that's going to be a good project. It'll really alleviate traffic on that road there. Also, Councilman Wayne Pondius reported that since July 13th of 21, our road impact fee brought in $470,000. Yep. Good.
Brian Blazak.
Or Brian Blazak did that. Brought in $470,560. So that is starting to come into the town general fund, I believe that goes into. So that was Brian on that. Okay, thank you. And Mr. Schilling, Councilman Schilling, reported that there's plans to widen 93rd and 41, which is very tight on a Friday night at 5 o'clock. So that's some of the things that are happening in town. For the board members here, the SBA has loans available at 3.216 for January, and they're 25-year loans. So I know from time to time, if you're on this board, the residents may ask you a question, so I try to get all that information into your hands, so if you got a resource to go to. And but we're excited to have our new board members. We're grateful that you're willing to serve, and I don't know, does anybody else have anything else to add here?
John, I had a quick
Yes, sir.
question. On that widening 41
Yes.
and 93rd, is that where they're putting in double turn lanes, right, in each? I think I had heard a rumor a ways back, but is that what they're planning on?
I believe they're still working with the church to acquire some of that property on
Okay.
93rd to get a wider lane.
Because
But
that
they're-
would help the backed up traffic on 93rd
Yes, sir.
tremendously, right?
Yep, and that's the idea. Now, things that, you know, people want it tomorrow, but this has kind of been on the books for 4 years, and they're finally getting to it. So if we started today on something else, it'd be 5 or 6 years down the road, and the town needs it now. So they're doing the best they can. This is, we're kind of at the mercy of the state on that. And Dave has got connections with the county here, so maybe you can expand on the process on how long that takes, Dave.
Well, yeah, it's kind of on the books. It's been on the books. Sometimes grant money is part of that process. Long story short, it's, according to my information, it could start sometime next year, pending on the finish of the 5th lane on 41 between 109th and 93rd. We have to clean that all up first before, because NDOT, because it's 41 and that's a state road, they are the man, so to speak. We work at their timetable.
I'm sure St. John's been pushing on this for a long time, but boy, that would make a huge difference.
It sure would.
Dave,
It sure would.
do you have any information on them blowing through Klein? Because I think
Yes.
once that's done, it'll alleviate some of the westbound traffic on 93rd. I mean, there's days where I leave my subdivision between 4 and 6 o'clock where there's traffic backed up on 93rd from 41 to the VFW.
Oh, yeah. Mike, and you might be able to expand on that.
Great
Isn't that
question.
Klein Avenue
Yes.
extension supposed to start next year also?
So, Boy, wouldn't that be wonderful? So it is a NERC project. It made the list only last year, so you just tell you my understanding of what's going on. So it'll probably be 5 years before it starts. It'll be 80%, I believe, federal funds. And this is just how I had it described to me. Each year, we will receive additional funding. This year was a better year than we thought. I believe President of Council Sweat, he told me, I think we got almost $1 million from him. He'll need to verify the exact amount. But when I talked to him just the other day, I think he told me we got almost $1 million. That puts us ahead of schedule. But I do think realistically, we are going to be probably 5 years out. But to maybe to add to that, I believe on tonight's council meeting, we are going to approve an engineering firm for that project. So it is moving forward.
Good. All right. Well, Mike, thanks for zooming in to our meeting here. We appreciate that, and thanks for
pleasure.
what you guys are doing. We're to the point of public comment.